Hey everybody, what is up? My name's Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And today we're taking a look at Orichalcum, published by Pandasaurus.
Yep, so in this game, we're going to be charting maps, beating up titans, building pyramids, and laying claim to new lands. So if that sounds like something you might want to play, then just keep watching.
Alrighty, so in this game, Orichalcum, the player with the strongest military is going to start out each turn by drafting a card that's going to have an action and a land tile associated with it. They're going to take that tile over to their board and put it on their map. They're going to get that action, and then they're going to do something like build or produce or battle and get rid of those titans on their board, and then their turn's pretty much over. They have the option to spend some extra resources to get an extra bonus action from that list of actions, which they can take at that time. Now, players are going to have three different ways that they can score points. They're either going to score points by building pyramids, which you build on top of 4 different land types, or they're going to attract gods to their board to give them sort of enhanced powers and that temporary bonus point. And you do that by having 3 of the same land type of that matching god. And then lastly, you're going to score points by constructing and melting together your Orichalcum metals, precious ores, into these shiny, shiny coins. So the game is a race to 5 points. As soon as somebody fills up those 5 points at the top of their board, the game is over. They are the winner.
All right, so what do we have going on in this game? That's Orichalcum in a nutshell. What do we like? What's good? What do we...
Yeah, I guess the coolest thing about this game is that the win condition is so obvious and so simple and so clear that you kind of always know where people are, and it builds that race up towards the end where it's like, oh shoot, they've got 4 points, we're like almost there. So you know as soon as 5 points are achieved, that is the end of the game. Now you also have like pretty good agency on your turn. I felt like even if your last player, as like terrible as that feels, I feel like you still could find things to do on each turn that felt valuable. You were either going to build up your engine by building these little buildings on top of your spaces, or you were going to go battle those titans. That titan mechanic is probably my favorite in the game, where essentially there are certain tiles that have lava spaces on them that are considered wild. They count as any land type, and they come with a titan on them, and you can't build next to them. So it's kind of, and you also can't win if you have a titan on your board. So basically you can, when you battle, you can do like a campaign where like you fight this titan and then that titan and then that titan, and you get to keep going till you lose. And I love that, like, how far can I go winning? Because you're basically betting your little hoplite soldiers to say like, okay, I'm going to put 2 against this person, 1 against this person.
The word hoplites, I know it's like that's like the historical term, but when we kept playing, I was so confused. I got the person we were playing with, they kept saying hot plates, so we were like,
well, he was British, so
hot plates. Can you get me some hot plates? And I was like, why are we saying hot plates? Like, what is this game?
It's a food making game.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why it has an interesting engine buildup. I also like that it's a double-sided board, so you have a side that's easier on one side, and then you can jump over to the more difficult side. The other side, I felt like it was like too much. Like even the difficult side wasn't like that complicated.
I feel like what helps is the graphic design is very good, so the iconography is very clear.
Yes,
kind of know what's going on at all times.
It is clear iconography. Okay, so that kind of sums up what we like. All right, so let's jump into the other category, maybe the more negative category. So there's nothing, we've been talking about this with Orichalcum, there's nothing mechanically wrong with the game. Like, it plays well, it does what it's supposed to, but we do have some critiques going into it. And this seems to be different than other reviewers that have come out saying like Dice Tower gave it a seal of excellence and all this stuff. But we see some glaring issues that we felt like we should tell you guys that other people haven't been bringing up, that I don't think we're doing right as reviewers if we didn't bring these up. First step is like the one that was most obvious to me is I haven't heard anyone mention is this size of this game. Like, it is a table hog. I think unnecessarily. Like, it is just
very much.
The player mats are like huge. Like, the cards like are just like ginormous. Like, and so much empty space. Like, so much wasted space. Even the side of like each individual player boards where there's like the guy standing there. It's just big. Like, I think
that could be a whole player board on its own.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty normal size table. That it's a pretty like.
Yeah, it's a 3x5 table, which is like pretty average.
And 3 people, we were pushing it. 4, we were all hanging off the table. So it's and we are constantly, and you were talking about how they keep up when every time.
Yeah, I will talk about that. I think one thing that also is related to that, though, was this game's probably really best at 3 or 4 players.
Yes.
So it's best at the player counts that you kind of need a big table to play on, which, too, it had this kind of issue here. So the game feels like the playtime to upkeep time, where I'm reshuffling things, redealing things out, resetting the round, is almost equal. I spend as much time playing as I spend setting things up, and that's especially true at the lower player counts. Now at the higher player counts, you're just kind of waiting for your next turn. But it just feels like there's a lot of upkeep in this game. You got to reshuffle that deck pretty regularly. I wish they would have. I know that they did it for spread, but I wish they would have found a way to make the deck a little bit larger, so you wouldn't have to shuffle every 2 rounds or so.
Yeah. It's just odd in that point, and just because the 2-player did really fiddly. It felt like it was a variant on it where it just was. It wasn't.
It was a variant.
Well, it was a variant on it. So it bothers me when they say that there's a 2-player. It's a 2-player game, but then you have to change things up to adapt it to 2-player. It doesn't really feel like it's a 2-player game. You know what I mean?
Specifically, the kinds of things that were changed. It was a whole extra phase.
Yes. And so overall, I had a good time playing it. And like we said, it was mechanically sound. It's just nothing about it wowed me. I think one of my friends that played it said it best. She said if someone said, hey, I really want to play this, I'd be on for it, but I'm not going to rush the table with it myself. And I kind of feel the same way about it. And so I was surprised with a lot of people saying it's really good. It is mechanically sound. It's just I'm not seeing that wow factor. To me, it feels it works. It's a game.
I think it initially gave me a really good reaction. I was like, ooh, I'm really liking this.
Yes,
a couple rounds in.
You really liked the first play of it.
And then by the time you got to the end of the game, I think there were 2 things that sort of betrayed that feeling that I had early on. One was that the engine building I was doing, by building all those buildings, felt like I couldn't see it actually come to fruition. I didn't get to use all my big production I'd built up.
Yeah.
You really can only build 3 or 4 buildings if you want to kind of keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was that second free action, so you can spend some of your components to get an extra action of any kind. It totally took away almost too soon in the game the choice of which card I get, which action I get. I didn't feel like that mattered. I'm I'll take whatever action because I'm just gonna use my bonus action to get what I really need.
Yeah. I don't know if you mentioned, but this was done by Bruno Catala, which is known for Some Wonders Duel and lots of other Splendor Duel. And I feel in this one I wasn't doing as much choice making as I usually am in his games. I really was just what you were saying.
Kind of what was left.
Oh yeah, I can take that. Oh, I have enough for that. And usually in his games I'm constantly trying to plan ahead and thinking how am I going to make the most out of my resources. I just didn't feel that pull here. Like I said, it's a fine game, but it didn't wow me. So that's my opinion on Orichalcum.
I think the world building, the graphic design, the art, the Titan battling, super fun. If you like this kind of theme, I think you'll enjoy it. Especially if you have a big enough table for it. But it kind of, I think what we're saying is that most of the things that we feel were more negatives to us were mostly on the development side. So once that game's been designed and then it kind of goes through that polishing that rounds out, wow, we're spending a lot of time doing upkeep. Wow, this takes up the entire table. Those are the kind of things that happen after it's been designed, and I feel like that could have used a little bit more love.
Alright, so that is our review on Orichalcum. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And we'll see you next time. Happy playing!
Here's the camera. There's your photo, do not disturb and no kind of buzz.
Ready?
Yeah.